Being your own boss isn't easy. Building a brand is hard work.
Balancing all of that on top of a relationship is easier said than done.
The purpose of the show is to talk through tools and resources to navigating a hectic lifestyle.
Join us on our journey of figuring it all out, side by side, hand in hand. We're here, we're live. Hey everybody, there we go. Now you can see us. Welcome.
Yes. We are doing this every Monday at 3 p.m.
3 p.m. Eastern time. Every Monday you can catch us here. Our second episode. We got lots of feedback from last week, a lot of great positive feedback, which we loved hearing from our friends and family, of course, and new viewers. One of them that I tapped my pen too much.
Yeah, you were tapping your pen. But yeah, a moment of gratitude to everybody that's kind of checked out the first episode and reached out. We really, really appreciate it. Today's episode is how to network and make friends at events, whether it's a conference, a party, a bar mitzvah.
Which is good timing because coming into September, it is Labor Day. Right after Labor Day, of course, everyone, I would say, comes back to work full time because let's be honest, some people during the summer decide to take a few months off. But it is conference season, a lot of big conferences happening in September, including Content Marketing World, which I don't think I'm going to be at this year just because I have other travel conflicts. But then I'm doing one here as well called Out on Bay Street. That'll be in Toronto, and that's an exciting one. And you yourself were you were at an event last night.
Yeah, I was at an event last night. I got this amazing ticket to go to the MMVAs, and a part of that was going to like the VIP party where like the management and the talent was. And I was alone, so it was
by yourself, which is a huge thing. Nobody likes to go alone to anything. Some people don't even like to go. Maybe in New York, or if you're in a different city, people go alone to eat. But go to a event where Shawn Mendes is, and
there was like really cool talent. Loud Luxury was
Loud
there.
Luxury, favorite. I would love Loud Luxury.
It was kind of difficult because it was like hard not to like fangirl and then be a professional.
Yeah.
So like certain people I saw and like I said, hey, like good job, congrats, but I wasn't like, hey, can we get a photo? But some people I was like, I have to get a photo with.
And you were sending me updates all night.
Yeah,
play by play backstage. But so how do you network at events? That's going to be the theme of this show. And of course, Nina joins us. Nina was very popular, our producer.
Yes.
She's in the corner. Again, we were told we called on Nina too much. She's very upset. Well, say hi, Nina, so everyone knows you're real back there.
Hi.
Ooh, they can hear you, I think.
And Nina brings her Pakula picks, kind of some questions and topics for us to dissect. Should we just jump into it?
Let's jump right in.
Okay, what's the first pick, Nina?
Oh my god, I hope you guys like this one.
Okay.
So in the branding world, obviously huge company.
Okay.
Procter & Gamble, been around for ages.
Okay.
Has a lot of really amazing products under its belt. Kind of wants to merge in with this, popular social media world. So they want to trademark the acronyms LOL, WTF, NBD, which no big deal, and FML, sorry.
FML, fuck my life. They're trying to trademark. Fuck my life.
Isn't that the name of a club in Toronto?
It's a name of a night, an event.
A night, yeah, okay. Well.
Sorry, finish the question.
So what's the question, Nina?
So, first of all, do you guys think that an older company like this should be allowed to have the rights to trademark these types of acronyms that are so known around? Use this to sell products?
Well, I don't know. I feel like this is probably a question more for legal scholars because trademark law, actually, you don't actually have to trademark something technically. It's for a person first to use to market. Susan Brooks, who does all of our entertainment. Hi, Susan. Hopefully you're watching. She's in LA. In fact, I'm going to be in LA this week and see her for some meetings. But I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think that you can, really. I don't know if a company. Of course, they have endless amounts of money to throw at doing that kind of thing, but I don't know if you could actually trademark them. I think it's so embedded in culture and use and the way people do it. That'd be a hard fight. I feel like it's public domain.
It is,
yeah.
Well, this is a fun on the farm fact. Did you guys
fun on the what? Fun on the farm.
Fun on the farm.
Fun on the farm.
What is fun on the farm?
It's just fun on the farm fact.
Okay.
Paris Hilton actually owns the word "that's hot."
See, that's what I was gonna say.
That's different.
No, because I feel like this is smart. Nobody's taking the time to kind of trademark these words. They've been around for like
I don't know.
10 years. I think it's smart. I don't know who they are, but they're smart and I like what they're doing. If anything, they are going to be known in history for kind of trademarking these words. In 30 years, when we look back, people are going to think they created it.
What was it? Fun on the
farm.
farm. So I got actually called out last week from my mom, and I was told that I have to tell everyone that I was raised on a farm in rural Washington State. She said that, you got to tell people. So this is the shout out to them. And Jan Penfold, who actually lives in Palisades, where I grew up as a kid, used to be our bus driver, and she actually watched the show.
Shut up.
Yeah, and so there was a chat about me being from this small little farm town, and now we're here
on
Facebook Live. Look at that. So hey, everyone back there in Palisades, Washington, watching. We're excited to be here. So let's jump into our show. We got some topics here. Yep. Or is there another Pecula pick, or am I just? Nina gets very mad if we break form because she produces this show weeks in advance, and then she shows up and we're running around adding things. She's like, "It's not in the document. You didn't put it in the Google Drive," and on and on and on. So
we just like to free talk.
We can. So she gets very mad at us.
Okay, but what's the
next? Is there another
Pecula
pick?
Yeah.
Of course there's another Pecula pick. What do you think this is?
By the way, Buffer Festival. I forgot. I'm also speaking at Buffer Festival.
Yes.
September 27th. I'm doing a little fireside chat format with Steph Zaniotti, who's a brand that we work with and develop her brand. Big creator. She's doing a film for Samsung. Very excited to premiere it there. Actually, it's a short film.
I'm excited.
Aneal executive produced it, and so it's going to be very, very cool to stream that. But we're also going to do a fireside chat about how do you work with brands to create branded content. How do you build a relationship? Anyway, I'm all over the place today.
You are. You're shaking.
I'm
shaking, not
shaking.
stirred. Anyway, back to Pecula pick.
Pecula picks. Let's go.
Well, this is nothing to do with the branding world.
Okay.
I just wanted to bring it up because I'm kind of confused by this.
Okay.
So Scary Spice, obviously from the Spice Girls. Yes. We all know where this might be going. So she checked herself into rehab for sex and alcohol addiction for next month. So I totally understand, obviously, alcohol and drug addiction is a huge issue. Why are you checking yourself in for sex addiction? What is that?
Sex addiction is obviously
Nina's coming in with the hardballs here.
Well, sex addiction means that it's affecting your day-to-day life. That's what I think, that's when addictions get out of hand. When it's
so
affecting
it's like anything
your day-to-day.
else. If it's affecting your life where you're not able to do other things that you need to do, whether that's your job, whether that's your family, whatever it may be, that's when it starts to become a problem. And it's and like anything else, drugs, alcohol, it's something that people deal with, and it's also something that, a lot of things have a lot of stigma around them. So it's actually good that you've got such a public name talking about that.
True.
Because it's an important topic and people struggle. We all struggle with things, right?
Yeah.
And this is happening online. We talked last week about how people are presenting one person online, but in reality they're dealing with, living a real life would be dealing with all kinds of things. And so you never know what someone's dealing with. So it goes back to the idea of just, being kind to people and think about that. So, good for her.
Yeah, and I think, once again, it's nice to see somebody with a platform speaking out about it. We've had, Demi Lovato being very vocal about her issues as well. Not issues, but kind of areas of opportunity that she's working on. So it's great. Commend you on Scary Spice for taking the time to get yourself help.
All right, we have any more Pecula picks, or where are we?
Yeah,
Okay, we're going to jump in. So the theme of this today's episode is about how do you actually network and get things out of that. So we're going to break this down into 3 different things. I always say everything's a story, beginning, middle, and end. How many times have you heard that?
Yeah, that's his motto. And we have a beginning, middle, and end to effective networking.
So I break it down like this in 3 different ways. And this applies, we're going to focus mainly on work events or conferences or even in the office. But you can also take a lot of these things and actually apply them to even a birthday party, a friend's event, whatever it may be. So, so certainly feel free to translate these things. So let's break it down in 3 different things. Pre-event, at the event, and then post-event. Okay, so pre, during, post. 3 categories. And so I'm going to kick it off here because, as mentioned, conference month, a lot of work meetings coming up, a lot of things happening, people trying to get that money as the quarter closes into the new year. So let's start with, if you're going to go to an event, if you registered for an event, or even if you're speaking at an event, the idea of defining your purpose, that is so key, right? So really think about why are you going and what are you trying to get out of that, right? Like, why are you there? Is it business development? Is it to network? Is it to meet other people in competitive business, see what they're doing, all that kind of thing. That's so important. Second thing is developing your elevator pitch. And this is the key thing. So many people talk about all the time of, they look at a conference as a biz dev opportunity, just going. It absolutely is. But think about relationships, right? Is that people want to do business with people that they like.
Yeah.
So, take a step back. This is one of the most important things I'll probably talk about in this episode, is regardless of your title, regardless of your job role, regardless of what you do, at the end of the day, all of us are in the people business.
Yeah.
As I just said, we want to do business with people that we like. Doesn't mean it's always going to be that way, because there's plenty of people you do business with that you just have to do it because of that. But I truly believe that kindness and that empathy and doing business with good people will win out. So you kind of understand that first of all, right? And so develop your elevator pitch. And so if someone asks, hey, who are you, what do you do, or whatever, that you're able to respond very succinctly. You may be an entrepreneur and you've got 3 businesses, or like Aneal's got podcasts and all these things, but it's getting to the point very quickly. What is that 20-second elevator pitch?
Yeah, and I think that you also should kind of translate your elevator pitch and your sense of purpose to reflect on social media as well, because kind of your Instagram bio is kind of your consolidated elevator pitch.
Yep.
So that way, if it's kind of on your Instagram, they see you after the event, oh yeah, he talked about hosting a podcast, and I see here on his Instagram it says podcast host. Your elevator pitch, just really taking the time to kind of hone in and find what you can say to sell yourself in 20 seconds has all the impact, and then translating that to copy, putting that in your bios, boom, winning combination of networking.
It's just having a clear thing, because so many people now in today's world, like, we all do so many different things, right?
Yeah.
So it's important, like, what is that one little pitch that people clearly understand? Okay, how can you provide value to them? Here's the biggest thing that you can do, and this really works, is actually do your research about the event. What's the event's purpose? Who's going to be there? Go on their website. Who are the speakers? Who are some of the companies coming, and reading up on that. And then look at people on LinkedIn that you want to connect with, right? And so there's 2 ways to look at this. You can sort of reach out ahead of time in some cases and say, hey, so super excited that you see you're speaking at this event. Good luck. Would love to connect with you afterward. Hopefully we can, meet up. You're not asking for anything, just saying, hey, I saw that you were speaking, and with them, and for that person, it means you took time to look at the event, and you know that they're speaking the topic, and I'm interested in your topic, and perhaps we can meet up. Super short. Don't try to sell anything. Don't try to pitch anything. Just build that relationship. And it's if you actually spend the time doing the research, this is it'll help you so much. So you know who people are. Building on that, think about making content around the event itself. So pre-conference content. And I've done this before. Content marketing world. The past couple years I've gone. The year I did went the keynote there. I created a whole blog post on LinkedIn and on my website that was the 10 most exciting people I'm looking forward to meet, or whatever the different conference tracks were, or what they were talking about, tagging them, and that's creating content for and value to other attendees, saying here's what I'm looking forward to. Now, lots of value, different speakers there, but it's not about promoting everyone. It's here's what I'm interested in, and that provides value, and people are going to see, oh, this person's really interested. They're creating content. They're really passionate about this topic. Yeah,
I mean, there is a power in the Insta stock. There's a way to not be creepy about it.
Don't go creepy. Don't be all up trying to friend people on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's very, it's private, and it's me and my friends, right, and family. So, not necessarily business. I mean, there are business associates, of course, and people I do business with, but I've been friends with them. But that's weird when I get a Facebook and I'm like, I don't know who you are.
It's just exploring kind of who you want to meet. And like David said, it's all about establishing purpose. What is their purpose? What is your purpose? What is the event's purpose? And there's one thing that's inevitable about a conference is that people need coffee, people need to eat. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, when you're kind of reaching out to people and connecting, hey, would love to go out for a cup of coffee. What are your lunch plans this day? I heard this restaurant's great. And kind of building that human connection and establishing a relationship.
One of the things I actually did that reminded me was Flipboard. So
Okay.
last year at Content Marketing World, I worked with Flipboard, and we created content before, during, and after. It's probably still up there if you go to flipboard.com and search. A lot of people use that. So just again, thinking about how are you providing value.
Yeah.
And you went to school for this essentially, right? You have your master's leadership development. I mean, you've done a ton of events, right?
Yeah, and I mean, my master's program, you had to have your elevator pitch. I was in a leadership ambassador program, and basically we would go up in rounds, hammering down our elevator pitch. So
In actual elevators?
not in actual elevators, that would have been cool, but with a timer. So this is another thing you can be doing with colleagues in the workplace. Like, yeah, you guys go out to lunch, like just sit there with a timer and practice your elevator pitch. Practicing it and saying it out loud to somebody else and seeing how they react is the best way. Practice and establish your purpose and know how to articulate that is really, really powerful pre-event.
Also in pitches, when we say elevator pitch, we don't mean like the literal pitch of.
Yes.
It's of who you are, how do you provide value, what do you want to talk about, that kind of thing. It's not the business pitch. So don't get that confused, because if you just come off trying to sell, like, people hate that, right? That's all you see all day. So come up with something unique.
Do you want to do your elevator pitch?
I have a lot of it depends.
Sure,
It depends
you
on my
have
conference
multiple.
or whatnot. Most of what I do is in that branding and launching media company space. So I tell people, because most of my background's in television entertainment, and then on to the brand side, I said, look, I work at that, it sounds cliche, but that intersection of entertainment, right, content, professional content, and branded storytelling.
Yeah.
And how do studios and publishers get in that space, and then on the brand side as well. That leads to all kinds of other things.
Questions
But
and stuff.
you want to keep it short, and they will pull something from that. And they're like, oh, where did you work in TV, right? And I drop a little, I was in LA before, whatever it is. And so it's you give people enough information to respond to you, and then you start the conversation.
Yeah.
But if someone responds to you, don't go on forever and ever and ever. It's the worst. Or ask you a question about yourself. You want to be able to, oh, that's very cool, but you want to be able to ask them a question back.
Yeah,
Right?
true. Get to know them.
So if they say, oh, I lived in LA for a while, somebody would be like, oh, that's great. Well, let me tell you about my show I'm doing. And by the way, you could sponsor it for $9.99.
Yeah.
Joking. But be like, oh, where'd you live? What part of LA do you live in? Oh, Venice Beach. Oh, very cool. I lived there. Remember when the restaurant? And again, going back to the idea of building that relationship with people, and that's again going back to the people want to do business with people they like. So important. So let's jump into actually during the event.
Yeah. Before we do that, I believe we have a question.
We have a question on the Facebook page. By the way, you can leave questions on the Facebook page, on the live stream page. Bakula.
Actually, David, I wanted to let you know your mom says hello.
Oh, my mom says hello. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
She's watching. I was going to try to send her the link beforehand, but Nina was yelling at us and running around, and I'm just joking. Nina's very nice.
Okay, what's the question?
What's the question?
So this is a question from Sarah B. She says, hi, David and Aneal. My
Sarah.
name is Sarah, and I'm 24 years old, living in downtown Toronto. I have been invited to a number of TIFF events this year, which I'm super excited about,
TIFF.
but while I work in the media space, I still struggle with shyness and anxiety, and I'm often afraid that my coworkers are moving ahead in the workplace while I'm not living up to my full potential.
Okay.
What are the 3 most important things
Three, damn.
3, wow, okay.
strategies to keep in mind when networking at an event? You guys seem pretty outspoken, so I'm looking to trade in the Hallmark pep talk I've been getting from my mom for some DNA real talk.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. That's an elaborate question. I like
You want to
it.
go first? You want me to go first?
Well, if you want to jump in.
Well, I think you
Well,
mentioned.
first let's back up and explain what TIFF is. So,
Yeah.
Toronto International Film Festival. It's one of the premier events, film festivals for sure, in Toronto. Everyone's there. It's 2 weeks essentially of events and panels and parties and networking and people buying films and all that stuff and screenings. And so it is a really big event in town.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, you mentioned having anxiety about going to these events, and one thing, like, I struggle with that. I have really bad anxiety when I go to a networking event, and I have to, you have to pump yourself up. But one thing that I did that worked is have a goal. So I bring 10 business cards with me every networking event, and I say I have to at least give out 3. That's a personal goal.
That's a goal.
And then 5 is a great
and
net.
or get 3, right?
Yeah, and or get 3, exactly.
Right.
So
set those goals then.
Set those goals, challenge yourself, boost yourself up, and I'm telling you, the first kind of interaction and going to meet someone is the hardest. But once you do that first one, it really you get warmed up. You practice. You can talk to more people. So I would say challenge yourself by kind of at least meeting and talking to 3 people. Handing out the business cards is not necessarily what I mean. It's like really taking the time to talk to 3 people.
Get to know 3 people that you'd have follow-up meetings with.
Yeah.
You'd have drinks with, some you'd have coffee with, whatever it may be. I think, going back to the core of your question, one thing to realize, and I think this takes a lot of the anxiety away, is that everyone has anxiety.
Yeah, it is true.
Regardless if you're just attending the event, you're producing the event, you're a speaker, you're a keynote, you're on a panel, everyone feels exactly the same as you. Especially if someone like you, the event MMVAs last night, going by yourself, it's even worse, right?
Stressful.
But it's once I think you understand. Look, I'm walking into essentially a place where everyone feels the same.
Yeah.
And whoever think about, if you have that anxiety, you go out and you're going to look for the most friendliest person in the room who seems to be welcoming and putting out a great energy and smile. That's what you should be putting out.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's what's going to lead you to a conversation, which, this takes us into our during the event, right?
Yeah.
Which is, so if it is here's a tip, and trust me, I've learned from this tip. I haven't listened to my tip, but I get much better at it. Is if you're going to an event, the big kickoff day or whatever it may be, schedule it out like anything else you would in your day. Just because you're maybe traveling or you're not in the office, doesn't mean you shouldn't set your schedule like you would anywhere else and make it as consistent as possible.
Yeah.
So wake up early, allow plenty of time, 2 hours before, whatever you need. If you can, if you're a morning person, hit the gym. That's a great way to get endorphins going and sort of set the tone and pump you up and get your energy going. Great breakfast, and then head into the event, and that's going to make such a big difference. The mistake people make is that they go to an event and it's like a boondoggle. And it's just
What's a boondoggle?
like a big party.
Oh.
It's like fact farm
Never
facts.
heard that.
Okay.
Boondoggle. Cool.
It's not in the millennials, it's old people. But anyway, that idea of you're there, you're having fun, your drinks. I get all that. Been there, done that, have fun. But you don't feel good the next morning. You don't have your energy. Not saying don't have fun. By all means, go out and have fun. And look, anyone that knows me at a conference, I'm Mr. Fun. That should be my name, Mr. Fun.
No.
Yeah. Kevin O'Leary's Mr. Wonderful. I should be Mr. Fun. But also, what? You don't like that?
I don't like that.
Why?
So much. I don't know. I liked Mr. Beebs, Mr. BB.
No, it was Uncle.
Uncle is
D,
just weird
Uncle
and
D.
creepy. Anyway, continue.
Anyway, the point is think about how do you balance that. Just because you're there doesn't mean go crazy, and because you're not ultimately gonna have the energy and feeling like the network and all of that. So in the morning, important things: scan the news, read the headlines.
Yeah, know what's going on in the world.
It could be pop culture, it could be business news, it could be related to the conference, it could be related to the companies that are there.
What should you not talk about?
Politics.
Yep.
I'm
Don't
telling
do
you.
it.
Don't bring politics up at a work event, at a conference, maybe with your good friends if you're comfortable with them.
Yeah.
And then if you're going to do that, if you're going to go there, make sure that you have a fair debate. If you're one of the people that's on only one side, and that's the only side you see, and you can't listen to other people or can't at least hear another opinion, you want to ensure that you're having a fair debate. But just by all means avoid that. It's not part of business. You don't want to go there unless it is actually part of your business. Then that's a different thing. Here's one of my biggest one.
What?
Have business cards.
Yeah, I got in trouble for that one.
So many people think that having a business card is like old school. They're like, I'm all electronic. I got a signature. Look me up on LinkedIn. I don't care how. There's something about having a physical business card that you get, and I know you get a stack of them in events, and you're like, who's that? Then you can scan them into a system, whatever. There's scanners, and you can create. Then you can go digital with them. But it's not even old school. There's something about. I always have a stack of cards on my desk, and I keep them. And what I do is I go every now and then, maybe once a month, I'll just go through. And I never followed up. Yeah. Or what is that? Let me look at their website. I think if it's all digital, it's like everything else. It's in with your emails and your CRM and everything else that you're doing. and tracking, and you don't have that physical remembrance.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we're talking about when you're at the event, right, is you don't look around the room and say, what can I get from this person? Or what can they do for me? You know, you need to enter every single conversation as, what value can I bring to them?
True.
What is my worth that I can contribute to them? And then honestly, once you establish that, and you first build a connection, right? Establish your purpose, do your little elevator pitch without making it pitchy, then you kind of are able to be like, look, this is what I can potentially do for you. And then we'll talk about how to do the follow-up post-event. But
yeah, you don't want to go in selling. Go in building relationships. I was just at this event called Brand Storytelling. It was in Utah, up in Park City. Rick Parkhill puts it on. Great guy. Brand Storytelling. He does it twice a year. And it's become this event where it's limited to like 130 people, and it's a mix of brand marketers, but then service providers to brands. Great brand leadership there, but even though there are people there to sell things and whatnot, they're not there pitching that. It's about building relationships with people, having a great time, getting to know people, and that's what great things that Rick does for Brand Storytelling. There's a program, but then people can, in Utah, we have free time and they organize activities. So if you want to go mountain biking, you can do that. If you want to go hiking, they organize all that. And that's how you really get, to know people and what are they about? Where are they from? Why are they in their job? What do they want to do?
Remember,
all in the same place. Like, even if you're a buyer, on the buyer side, if you're a brand perhaps, we're all looking and want to know and be educated. It's really providing that value of informing. So that's just an important part, is like, it's like, stop selling and start having a conversation. Stop selling, stop marketing. Just be yourself. Talk to people, smile, be the weirdest person in the room with a big old smile, like, hey. Well, okay, not that crazy, but you get my point. Some people say, wear something that makes you stick out, like a weird hat. Okay, that not necessarily my thing, but I get the point and what that can do. There's lots of great people.
Wear what looks good and you feel comfortable in.
Yeah,
that's the most important.
You want to be comfortable.
Yeah. Another thing too, in terms of having these conversations, a conversation that you should enter and be on top of is kind of what's happening in the social media world. Yes. For every conference, party, event, there is a hashtag. There's little photo booths,
follow along.
And do it timely within the 24 hours of the event, because that's when people are tapping into the hashtag right there. And sometimes, honestly, people have conversations, maybe drink too much, forget, but then when they tap into the hashtag the next morning, oh yeah, I remember talking to that guy.
Yeah.
So make sure you're really taking advantage of kind of the event, kind of
what's happening.
Social
Spark
media.
that conversation online, especially if you're in a conference and you're listening to someone talk. Or in an event, use that, because there's other people that are tracking that and listening, and they're like, oh, where's that person in the room? Or when they see you, they'll say, oh, hey, I saw your tweet, or I saw your post, or whatever. And so then, that's a natural way to have a conversation. So tweet, retweet, follow people. Totally a great way to introduce yourself online, in a sense, in that offline environment. Make sure you looked at people's LinkedIn, connect with them. And this is one of the things, is create content while you're there. So beyond just the hashtag, is do like a daily recap. If it's a 3 or 4 day conference, or even if it's a smaller one, it doesn't take that long to take notes throughout the day and sit down an hour of your day while everyone else is getting ready for day. Just take an hour and just literally type throughout the day and put a post out there. 6 things I learned at Content Marketing World today, or whatever the event is, or smaller, or even internally, you could share that, right? And then you're creating content for the audience that's there. The event producers appreciate that. Other people pick it up, and then you also have like a bunch of content that you can share post-event with coworkers.
Yep, it is really, really great. So, I think this is before we jump into it, the most important part of networking is the post-event, what you do after.
Yeah.
But I believe we have another question. Yeah.
Yes.
Another question. Okay,
we're
top ready?
Yeah,
we're ready.
Give it to us.
Bring it.
So, this is coming from Divya. Say hi, Divya.
Hi, Divya.
How long should I wait to reach out to someone I met at an event?
So there's 2 schools of thought on this. There's the idea that you should reach out right away. And say, hey, great to meet you, I'll follow up. Or you wait a couple of days. And I think there's plus or minuses to both of them. I think for me personally, I always wait like a good 3-4 days, or most events are like on a Thursday, Friday, or a Monday, Tuesday, whatever it ends up. So I'll wait until like that next sort of week until they're getting their group. Because look, we're traveling.
Yeah.
You're off schedule anyway. You've met so many people, and unless it's a really engaging conversation, they wanted to immediately meet you for an opportunity. Of course, you don't want to pass that up. But my personal preference and what I do is give people a little break, a little beat.
Yeah. Get back into their like kind of situation.
Right? And then at the same time, you can then share all the conference material or the recaps you made with them, right?
So
a week later, you can say, and this leads us into actually the post event, is then create another piece of content of what is it, overview, recap of the event, right? So share that with somebody and maybe include them in it. Doesn't hurt, right? People love reading about themselves, so why not do that? So my personal thing is, again, wait a few days, wait till the next week, whatever it may be. I don't know. Yeah. What would you do?
For me, I think it depends on what your ask is.
Take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel.
If you want to kind of follow up and have a meeting, I would wait at least 72 hours, so that way, like you said, they get back into their routine after travel and can look at their calendar and put you in. But if you're just trying to say, hey, nice to meet you, here's my information, I don't see why you can't do that the next day.
It's not like dating. It's not like a dating game. Oh, I met someone, I'm going to wait 3 days because that's what you do because it's cool. It's not about that.
No,
This is more consideration on their part. And again, I use both methods. I think, again, it's more of what works for you, what works for who the person is, and that's what's important. So in that case, it's a case-by-case basis.
And one thing I do want to say that is so powerful is taking the time to write a handwritten thank you note. People get lost.
If you want to stand out. If you want to stand out.
But I'm saying there's a lost art in handwritten thank you cards, that if there's somebody that you really need to connect with, you really want to follow up with, you had a great time with them and you see yourself working with them in the future, take the time to write a card and drop it off to the receptionist.
Or just mail it to them.
Just mail it, yeah. There's cute stamps now.
Cute stamps. Apparently, it's all about the cute stamp. What are the cute stamps?
It's all about the presentation.
What stamp? If you met me in an event and you said, "Oh, I want to network," David Beebe.
Well, I would have to get some bougie ass stamp, like one that's like embossed and like super cool envelope. But I mean, once again, it's just another way that you can sell yourself. And for example, my personal brand is black and red, so my thank you cards, black and red. It's just a way to show who you are.
Send that brand in a different way. It's not about kissing ass.
No.
Don't send a whole wine package or a fruit package. That's weird. But like, I've had that done before.
Shut up.
Yeah. Which I totally appreciate.
Yeah.
And I send gifts to people all the time that I do business with, or people. Yeah. There's a person at LinkedIn that I do great work with, and she always promotes my articles and all that. So it's like those are personal gifts. Canadian Tire. Well, I wouldn't say sponsored, but Canadian Tire. So Aneal did a photo shoot with them.
Yeah.
Where he directed it with Roxy Earl, Luxurious Roxy, who, by the way, with Le Chateau has a new line coming out.
Next week.
Her fall collection launches. I think this week, pre-orders, I think.
Oh, cool.
I should probably know that as being part of that team. But it's this week. So anyway, as part of that, Canadian Tire was kind enough to actually give us a bunch of furniture for patio and outdoors, and an insane amount. It's beautiful. We haven't sent something to her. We're going to.
Yeah,
it's on the list.
I haven't sent the thank you card, so
calling you out.
Well, this is good. This is why you should be on top of it.
We're sorry.
This is an example of ineffective follow-up.
Ineffective.
Ineffective.
Leave your comments below if it's ineffective. Anyway, we're gonna send you something because we love it. We're gonna have you over for drinks at our place. It's great and all that.
So let's spark notes it a bit, right? Pre-event.
Spark notes?
Yeah, like break it down.
Well, let's go post-event. We didn't finish that, though.
Did we do it?
No, it's, again, that handwritten thing, that idea of how do you, follow up, right? Again, if you meet someone, there's an immediate opportunity, like set something up.
Yeah,
don't be shy. Get in there, because that's good, business development and networking is get in there and get in the books. But again, just don't go there and be like, oh, I have to go to this thing, or I want to go. Develop yourself. That's your personal brand. That's what we decided. That's what we talked about last week, was building your personal brand. And this extends to that, because the way that you talk to people, the way that you make them feel is so important. And people are going to talk about it. They're going to be like, oh, that Nina woman, incredible producer. She always makes me feel so good.
Yeah. People don't remember what you say. They remember how you made them feel.
in marketing or in business, we always talk about this in content marketing. It's not about you, it's about them. All right, I say marketing is like a first date. If all you do is talk about yourself, you never get a second one, something like that. That idea of this is no different. It's how do you make it? So almost imagine it's like dating in a sense, right? You want to know about them, ask questions about them, build a relationship.
Yeah, it's dating without the game, essentially.
Some people at conferences get a little freaky. If anyone's ever been to CES in Vegas,
don't want to.
What happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas, and that affects your personal brand as well.
Okay, can we Spark Notes it now?
What's Spark Notes?
Spark Notes is like recap it. So pre-event, right?
Okay,
you want to establish your purpose.
Establish your purpose.
And do your research and know your elevator pitch.
Right. And know who's going to be there.
Exactly.
And know who they are. Have their information. Are they in a new job? Congratulations on your new job.
Yes. During the event, you want to make sure that you are on that day. Whatever on means, that you've exercised, you ate right, you're in full welcoming energy.
Good energy, that's key. People can pick that up in a room. Even if you can't see someone, you can pick up energy.
Oh, no, totally. And make sure that you're taking the time to tell the person what your value is. Not what they can do for you, but what you can do for them. That is so important.
And vice versa.
And vice versa.
But it's more about what you can do for them.
Exactly, 100%. And if you flip your brain to kind of think like that.
Did you say that the right way?
Did I say that the right way? I think
Well, if you say it like what you can do for them, that can come off salesy.
Yeah,
it's more of what they like. It's,
but you establish your value.
Build the value to each other.
Exactly.
But ask more questions. Find out information from them.
Yeah.
As simple as where you're from, or hey, is this your first year at the event, or how did you get connected with everybody? Don't be like, hey, what's your job title? What do you do? How can you help me?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
wrong.
Build that relationship.
And
create content.
Yes, create
so many marketers and entrepreneurs watch our show and talk. Here, I'm going to get on my pedestal.
Oh, God, I'm nervous.
No, this is actually a good one. If you're like a content marketer and you're about this brand storytelling and you're saying stop interrupting people, provide that value, you have to do it yourself. What's it say about a brand, whether it's your personal brand or an agency, if all you're out doing is doing exactly what you're saying not to do, right? So build that relationship.
Yeah.
I see so many, quote, content marketers or the agencies saying, create content that adds value and do this, and you go to their website and it's all, this is what we do, look at us, look how great we are. There's no blog.
Nothing.
There's no, there's
nada.
Nothing. So if you're gonna, you gotta kind of like walk the talk in a sense. All right, post-event. Spark Notes.
The power of follow-up. Post-event, if you are not taking the time to do your post-content posting, tapping into the hashtags, you're not writing thank you notes or emails, and you're not reaching out to get in the books and establish that meeting.
LinkedIn is one of the most powerful platforms out there.
Did I tell you what happened to me at that brand dinner?
What happened?
What brand dinner? The one that your brand dinner.
The one last week we hosted a brand dinner
with Fable.
Taj was in town. He's one of the co-founders. Check out Fable, FABL.co. I believe.
Yeah.
They do brand publishing, really cool platform, self-service. It's so cool what they do, just visual storytelling in a really interesting way. Working with a ton of brands. So we had a brand dinner with like about 20 people, and we always do these once a month, right? Like private events. We invite brand marketers, people who provide services but aren't going to be pushy and selly in a sense.
It's a fun night out to just like talk to people.
All about networking. We had some of my friends from Accor Hotels there, or Accor. From Fairmont, my favorite hotel brand. Hey, Fairmont. We're actually doing something really interesting with Fairmont. I'm going to tell everyone about.
Okay, so quick story because we were talking these people's ears off. But anyway, so I looked at her. She's like, I want to connect the woman from Oracle, and she goes, do you have a business card? Forgot my business card, party foul. And then she was like, okay, just hit me with your LinkedIn. Do you know how embarrassing it was to be like, I don't have LinkedIn? Nina just gasped.
I thought you have LinkedIn.
I have LinkedIn, but I had to reset my password.
He hasn't updated it yet. Let's make that clear.
Yeah, so just use your LinkedIn effectively. So
make sure it's updated, especially before you go to an event. If you're going to be out networking, people are going to. That's the first place. I feel like I love LinkedIn. LinkedIn should be writing me checks at this point.
You do stand by it a lot.
I'm always talking about it. Nina, can we get LinkedIn to sponsor the show?
And they are on the phone currently.
Great, they're on the phone. Nina is a closer. That's what we like, closers. No, but seriously, it's such a powerful tool, and I actually pay for LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is a great tool which gives you a lot more information.
Don't even know what that means, but it sounds so cool.
I'll show you. But just a great platform to research people, especially before these events, or even someone you're going to meet for a private meeting.
Yeah.
Any meeting I go to, I always look up everyone on LinkedIn. I connect, say, hey, looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday at 4 p.m. We have a great chat, whatever it may be. It's reaching out. They get to read about you. You get to have a conversation that way, versus walking in a room cold.
Yeah, not
right, and not knowing who's who. Not everyone's going to respond to you. Not everyone's going to accept your friend request or even read your message. That's fine. It's the fact that you're actually giving the energy to go and do that.
Yeah.
And this is how much, like, LinkedIn's got so much data. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Do we have any other questions before we wrap up the show here?
no, I think that was great. But before we log out, do we have any more questions?
Yeah, there's one question
Oh,
that just
okay,
came in from
okay.
Michael.
Okay.
Michael.
What's up?
So he says, this is actually a little bit maybe out of context now, but I guess, David, you talked about not being too pitchy.
Yeah.
Michael's question is, how can I be sure that someone will remember me or my company or product if I don't pitch them that?
I think there's a balance. Well, first, let's go back to this about how you make people feel, regardless of what you do.
Yeah.
What your product, your service, who you are, right? It's about how you make them feel. If you make someone feel really good, or you have a great conversation, you're gonna remember that person.
Yeah.
Going back to this event I was at, brand storytelling. I mean, we had so many great conversations with people at these dinners. In fact, we almost developed a TV show called The Table. Anyway, I'll tell you about it in the next episode. Anyway, just get to talk to people. And look, you're going to say where you work and what you do and sort of figure out, is there an interest in working? Is there an opportunity? This is also something really important to know. If what you do doesn't necessarily match or vice versa, don't discount that person.
Yeah.
Don't say, oh, you can't help me.
Yeah.
Right? Because this happens so many times, and this is where this is so valuable. You never know where that person's going to go.
Absolutely.
Or where they're going to work. Everyone's changing careers so fast, going to different companies. And the worst thing you can do is meet someone at an event, basically discount, not follow up with them. Even if you don't have any value to provide, just say, hey, so great to meet you. Let's stay connected. If there's ever an opportunity that I can help you, or you need any sort of guidance or whatever, feel free to reach out. Simple conversation.
Yeah.
Here's what a lot of people will do on LinkedIn. My 2 pet peeves about LinkedIn.
Okay.
One is, once they see someone's gone to another job or whatever, they'll immediately hit them up. Congrats on your new job. I've got a show to pitch you, right? And you haven't heard from this person for years.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying you need to be everyone's best friends and follow up with everyone weekly or monthly. It's maintaining that relationship. And people move enough jobs, and so you see someone go to a brand side or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're getting hit up. They're gonna, if you had built a relationship with them, they're going to come back to you and say, I remember you. I remember how you felt. I remember when you were there. Oh, by the way, you know what? We are launching a new website. We actually need that tool.
Yeah.
Or whatever it may be.
The human connection. You really have to.
human
Don't underestimate the
right.
connection.
And the other one is, here's my absolute worst thing on LinkedIn to do. Worst thing ever on LinkedIn to do. And I know exactly, I know 99% of the time who's going to do this when I accept their thing, but I almost accept it just as a game now to get some real stats. So, hey, we should connect, blah, blah, blah. Okay. 15 seconds after connecting, I reply, great to connect with you. We are a business development platform, or I am a connector, or whatever it may be. And they try to play it off in a way, and again, going back to what we were saying, providing that value. What are your big challenges today? So versus saying that, if you're going to connect with someone after they connected with you, don't ask them a question. Show the time that you put into researching. So go and say, hey, I read in the news recently that your brand is doing this or launching a new thing, and how are you guys? Have you had the opportunity to explore how you guys are measuring that?
Yeah.
Not sure where you are, but I'd love to chat with you about it, because what I do is this, and keep it short, and feel free to reach out. Now, if they don't reply, follow up maybe 2 weeks later and say, hey, have you had a chance to do this? But don't keep hitting them up, but don't forget about them either. You have to remember, people, especially on the brand side and the corporate side, they're busy. Everyone's busy. We're all busy, regardless of what you're doing. But you're in meetings, and you're like anyone else. You're bouncing back and forth between a meeting, a presentation, a team meeting, this leadership thing, this and that, and you're all over the place.
Yeah. No,
so you've got to hit people at the right time, right place, and all of that. But you never know what else they're dealing with at work. So going back, all in the people business. People remember how you make them feel. So important.
Yeah. I mean, that's a wrap, I think, on effective networking and making friends at the event. I want to just ask you to take the time to check out and give us a 5-star rating or write a review that is on iTunes.
If you can't stand looking at us, you can listen to us on iTunes every week. We upload it right after the show.
Yep.
And on demand, we realize everyone's busy, not everyone has time to tune in. But we do this live consistently every week, not only for our own discipline and schedule, but because it helps us and it builds that, but also it's repetitive in that sense. Everyone knows, and so it helps us meet our goals.
Yep, so we'll be here next Monday, 3 p.m. Thank you again for all the love and the views on our first episode. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.